Hello, 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 everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever it is that you're at. Welcome to a brand new episode of The Connect. For everybody joining us on our platforms on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and on YouTube, thank you for joining us this evening. It's a great day to be alive. And like I said in a post earlier on in the week, what's a Sunday without the connect, right? Sunday makes a lot of sense with the connect. So I'm deeply pleased to be here, and it's great to have everybody join us. As you join in, please do indicate what platform it is that you're joining us from, so that I can recognize you and acknowledge you. Thank you so much to everyone who has been sending in messages in the course of the week, even as we did our anniversary, which was 2 Sundays ago. And then we started the introduction to the series that we are starting today. So it's super great and super amazing to be here. I'm absolutely delighted. It's Sunday, the 24th of August, 2025, and it's time to connect. All right. So, everybody on Instagram, is great to be here. Big shout out to everybody joining us live on Instagram. I see you. For the folks that are clicking in on LinkedIn, especially, I see you, and YouTube, the YouTube channel. Thank you. Please do share this link right now to your friends, to your frenemies, to your enemies. Do share the link right now, and we'll be starting right away. All right. So, conversation that I wanted to have started of the introduction last week, and the conversation was really about the future of work, the future of work, and it's amazing because based on a lot of correspondence and a lot of mentoring sessions that I've had with some people, quite a number of people, it's become pertinent that we have this conversation, and we have some talking points around what I tag the future of work. All right, and this has been subtagged from jobs to creating value. All right, from jobs to creating value. Somebody can write that down in the comment section or whatever platform that you're on. From jobs to creating value. All right, so it's very, very important that we have this conversation. Now, the truth about it is that over the years, a lot of things have changed. I have a career that's spanning about a quarter of a decade now, about 25 years, 24 going on 25 years. And so many things have changed in the concept of work as it is defined. Yes, you have some things that are fundamental, some things that are sacrosanct, but then again, the ability to be able to translate that which is sacrosanct and concrete to the tangible and have amazing results, or to evolve in peak performance, is something that has been of question, of consideration, and of deep thought over the years. I've seen many things evolve over time, and so I find it necessary that on this episode, which is the beginning of a series where we'll be discussing the future of work, that I share some of my thoughts with you from experience, from other people's experience, and basically things that can help people be better positioned for what the future holds for them. I say many times that it's not today that determines tomorrow, but whilst there's a lot of sense in that, and don't get me wrong, don't shoot me down yet. Whilst there's a lot of sense in that, we also must understand that your idea and your clarity of tomorrow in many ways determines what you need to do today. And I have spoken many times about a model, right? That I have adopted, a model that I have learned from my good friend and mentor, Mr. Feladro Toye, over time, and it's called the Casper model, right? And Casper is an acronym that is spelled CASPER. And the C in the Casper model stands for clarity, the A stands for alignment, the S stands for strategy, and the P stands for planning, the E stands for execution, which births the R, the results. All right. And so many people have, or rather, as I was saying, if you have clarity, enough clarity about what the future holds, enough clarity about what tomorrow holds, then you'll be able to rightly align. All right. But I don't want to go into the model yet. I'll be talking about that in the course of our time today. But let me start from, let me go back to where I was. The tomorrow your understanding of tomorrow, the clarity of what your tomorrow holds, of what the market holds, of what your industry holds, of what the workspace holds, will determine what is needful for you to do today. I said many times that the greatest currency that we have in the world today is access, whether it's access to opportunities, access to new jobs, access to new platforms. But your understanding of tomorrow will determine how well positioned or how suitably positioned you are to be able to, number one, identify those opportunities that you can access. Number two, utilize those opportunities that you can access. But way more important, number three, maximize the opportunities that you can access. And so it's important that we understand that so many things have changed in the course of work and the way things have done. Yeah, there was a time that the conversation was around whether people were employable. And it was true because we found out that many people came out of schools, universities, or whatever level of the type of tertiary institution that that they went to, and many employees, many organizations, whether in the public sector or in the private sector, with a special essence or emphasis on the private sector, always complained. The human resource or human capital development department always complained that they were cool. It was difficult to find people that were suitable, people that were employable. So that was a discussion, a conversation at a particular time. But you see, that conversation hasn't changed, except that now it's taken on a different context. We're now even talking about the people that are employable now, all right, that can even be taken on now, but somehow do not seem to be able to fit into what the future portends. And that's a real problem. That's a real problem because it means that if you're not able to fit into how work will be in the future, then you will struggle. So it's not a necessity of your capacity or your competence. It's a function of your understanding of the levels of adaptability and flexibility that you need to have. It's important that you have that. Now, there's a concept that I want to introduce. I know that I've spoken about this in many on the plethora of platforms in time past, but there's a concept that I want to be able to I want to share with you, and it's the concept of anchorage and adaptability. Now I believe that for you to be able to thrive in the workspace, for you to be able to attain what my friend Jimmy Table will call 7-step performance, or what we know as peak performance, meaning that you are performing efficiently and effectively over and above the mandates and dictates of your assignments or job description, delivering overwhelming and exponential results. Now, the ability for you to do that is hinged on, number one, your anchorage, and number two, your adaptability. And let me take a few minutes to explain that before I go further. The concept of anchorage means that there are certain things that you cannot negate. They're sacrosanct, they're absolute priority. It means that you can't do without them. And there's a whole listing of such. First of all, you must have the right kind of work ethic, right? So it doesn't matter where you're coming from, what your degree was, and all. If you don't have the right disposition to being able to function, then you're going to suffer a lot. You're not going to be able to fit into teams. You're not going to be able to fit into the workspace, and then that skill that you have will not be able to be expressed in a way that suitably drives the agenda or the vision of the company or organization that you either own or that you work in, or in many regards that you work with. Now, understand this. So anchorage is important. There's certain values that you must have, and these serve as the anchors that define every other thing that you do. All right, that define every other thing that you do. The concept of hard work and smart work, however it is that you choose to look at it, the concept of excellence, of being thorough. All right, the concept of thinking through situations and thinking through processes. All right, having critical thinking, having analytic skills. Those are core anchors that you must have. But then again, because, and understand this with me, right? Because everything round about you is changing, because the world is changing. First of all, we're in a VUCA world, as I've always said, right, where there's a lot of volatility, there's a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of complexity, and a whole lot of ambiguity. And so there are many changes that happen too fast. There are many innovations that also happen, because not every change is bad. Some changes are for good. Disruptions are not necessarily bad. Disruptions are just a shift in the way things are done. And if you are unable to, beyond the scope of anchorage, beyond the scope of the things that are sacrosanct and the things that you must do, if you're unable to find a way, by way of adaptability hinged on flexibility, to be able to get what you must do done, then you'll be unable to do that which you must do. Did you get that? Right. So I was having a session, a corporate session with an organization yesterday, and I said to them that what doesn't bend will break. And I want that to sink into everybody watching this live stream right now, or whether you're going to be watching the recorded versions in the days and weeks to come. What doesn't bend will break. It means, therefore, and if anything breaks, it's of no use to your assignment. Understand that. It's of no use to your assignment. So you therefore must learn to adapt. You therefore must learn to be able to find ways of flexibility within the perimetering, the bordering of your anchorage. So your flexibility is not without values. Your flexibility is not without a fixed eye on the vision. Your flexibility is not without purpose, understanding and alignment with your purpose. So if we take the Casper model that I talked about earlier, and we talked about CASPER, standing for clarity, alignment, strategy, planning, execution, and results, then you must find out that your anchorage starts from the place of clarity. It starts from you understanding what exactly it is that you are meant to achieve at the workspace. What is the overarching vision for the workplace beyond your desk, beyond your table, beyond your job description? How does your job description fit into life? Is about systems, and systems are fitted into systems. Where you have systems that are properly aligned with a bigger system, then you have fluidity, and you have efficiency, and you have effectiveness, which delivers outcomes to you that are favorable, positive, and profitable. Where there is a lack of cohesion between your system, which is you, the work you do, the desk you occupy, and all of that, and and the bigger system, which is your department, and the bigger system, which is your unit or your directorate, and your bigger system, which is your branch and your region, your zone, and the organization as a whole. We're talking about the future of work here. The organization of the whole, beyond even your organization, to your industry, to your sector, all right, and the different markets in which you play. Note that's very, very important, because many times I realize that people really just have a very myopic view of what they do. So they just go to work, they sit down, they do the things that they're meant to do, they sign off, they get paid, they leave. They get money, and then it's fine. It's okay. I get a salary at the end of the month, or I get a commission on the job or something, and it's fine. But those that thrive, those that are, just John Obidi would say, the exceptional 1%, those that are successful, think beyond what exactly that they are doing. They think beyond where they are right now, and they focus on how where they are right now fits into the bigger picture. You see, your understanding of the bigger picture, what is happening in your industry, what is happening in your space, what is happening in the market, and what is happening in the world, helps give you the right perspective about what needs to be done in your own corner. That's where the concept of adaptability comes in. Because if all you're doing is focusing on your desk, you're focusing on just your primary assignment without recourse to what the global picture is, trust me, I can guarantee you, with it, with my career of 24 to 25 years, I can guarantee you, I promise you, that what will happen in that instance is that you will eventually run amiss, or you will come to a place of underperformance, or you'll come to a place of simply just not being exceptional, not being able to shift the needle, not understanding, not being able to, number one, identify opportunities that will make for exponential outcomes. Number two, not being able to utilize those opportunities, and certainly in no way not being able to maximize those opportunities. So you need to understand that. So there's always the bigger picture, and your clarity of the bigger picture allows you now to be able to develop what needs to change by way of adaptability. But you see, your adaptability, right, starts really, yes, it does start from the place of clarity, but really it happens when you now begin to come to the place of alignment. Now, alignment is very important, right, in this conversation, because alignment is what sets you on course. Alignment means that you must have a clear enough understanding, clarity of what the bigger picture is, to be able to now see how to channel your skills, your talents, your network, your resources, all right, your understanding of your stakeholders, because guaranteeing stakeholder satisfaction is critical to your success at work. And by the time you have an understanding of your stakeholders, then that's also having a better picture of, the bigger, better understanding of the bigger picture, right? So you have to come to the place of alignment. Alignment is so important. Alignment is so key. Alignment is so pivotal to your being a peak performer, you're being an exceptional staff, you're being an outstanding person in the place of work, whether it's business, whether it's your 9 to 5, whether it's your consulting, whether it's whatever it is that you're doing, as long as what you're doing is in the place of creating value, exchanging value, and communicating value and receiving value. All right. So you must create value. Note that you must communicate the value by way of exchange. All right. Through a channel or medium. We'll come to that at some point. Maybe if we can get that done today, we'll talk about it when we're looking at the concept of the redefined business model canvas, or the place of exchanging value, receiving value, because value, there must be a value exchange. Life itself is essentially about the exchange of value, and your lack of understanding in that area will stunt you in many regards. So here we are talking about clarity, all right, with regards to the future of work. And then we're now talking about alignment, where you're aligning everything that you have, your thoughts, your understanding, your perspective, your mentality, your attitude, your everything it is that you're thinking of. It was a great friend of mine that brought up something that I found very, 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 very important. And it was a formula that says K plus S plus A is equals to OPC greater than or less than OPM. All right. And I like that a lot. K plus S plus A is equals to OPC greater than or less than OPM. And K here stands for knowledge, S stands for skill, A stands for attitude. Very, very important, critical stuff. The way that you're able to develop and communicate your knowledge, apply your knowledge, the way that you convert it into skills that create value and develop value and communicate value, all that deserved with the right attitude, all that created with the right attitude is equal to other people's confidence, the level of confidence that people have in you, the level of confidence that people have in your work, the level of confidence that people have in your competence, the level of confidence that people have in your capacity. And that is in direct proportion or direct correlation, negatively or positively, to OPM, other people's money. All right. I really, really love that. K plus S plus A is equal to OPC greater than or less than OPM. So knowledge, skill, and attitude is equal to will give you other people's confidence, which will, depending on the kind of confidence, whether it is you build confidence or there's lack of confidence, will deliver to you OPM. other people's money. Now, let's move away from that from a bit. As critical as that is, but do note that, all right, K plus S plus A is equals to OPC greater than or less than OPM. All right. So it was the Oracle that shared that, and I really, really love that. All right. So alignment is key. You must bring everything into alignment. You must be able to have a focus, because alignment gives you direction, alignment gives you focus, alignment allows you now to be able to develop the right strategy. Casper, CAS, develop the right strategy. The right strategy that you have, which is a reflection of the degree of alignment that you have to the level of clarity that you have, will now be broken down into plans which must be executed by way of your key activities, and the outcome of that will be the results that you get. And hopefully my charge is that you get positive results and results that make sense. But we're talking about the work of the future. We're talking about moving from jobs to value creation. I want you to understand something. Whatever level that you are, wherever it is that you're at, and especially people that are working with or for people. Where we are right now, people are no longer looking for task finishers. Now, in the time past, you get celebrated for task finishers, but markets have evolved, industries have evolved, many things have changed. People are no looking for task finishers. People are now looking for co-creator of work. A co-creator of work is somebody who works in a place and contributes to not only shape, but guess what? To the level of policies that determine the key activities. Shape the policies that further the direction, or even in many regards, change the direction of the course for the better. It means that there is a degree of ownership that you must have to be able to fit into the work of the future. Many people are no longer looking for employees. I mean, even over time, in the last decade or so, nobody's looking to just hire people anymore. People are looking for people that can think even better than they. People are looking to be able to outsource critical parts of processing to the people that they hire. People are looking for people that are all over the place as, in-house consultant. And until you are on your job and you see yourself as not just an employee, but as an entrepreneur, as a co-creator of work, and as an internal, self-dubbed, self-named, and self-styled internal consultant, um, you're really not going to be a great performer. And the world doesn't have time for people that are just good. I've even come to learn that the market, when I say the world, I'm talking about whatever sector that you're in, I'm talking about whatever market that you're in. The world doesn't even have time, all right, for people that are great. The world has time for people that are outstanding, because the changes that are happening in the marketplace, the changes that are happening in diverse sectors of the world, the changes that are happening across many things require people that can quickly respond to those changes and maximize those changes for profit. So you're looking for innovators embedded in not just a few, but in everyone. You're looking for creators that are embedded not just in the few, not just in those at C-suits or those in upper management, but embedded in anyone, where everybody seems to understand that where they are right now is a part of something bigger. And if all you're doing is focusing on where you are and you don't have your eye on what is bigger, the vision, the drive of the industry, the direction that the industry is going to, what it is as an organization that you want to be able to achieve, then there's going to be a massive struggle. It's going to be a really, really struggle. You will not be an outstanding achiever in that place. The future of work requires that people understand that soft skills deliver hard results. And you may want to write that down. The future of work requires that people understand that soft skills deliver hard results. You understand that your ability to be able to Embody the agile methodology is what will deliver results to you. And what does the agile methodology entail? It means that you are providing instant, fast, swift, and prompt responses to challenges, and you are able to break things down in small bits, deal with them, and move on to the next one. You're not waiting for the whole picture to be able to fix. Issues don't have to culminate the disasters before there's a response to it. Now, I have said this before that there are two key things, two key aspects, or two key functionalities that every person must have in the place of work. Everybody must have these two things I'm about to say. You must be those two things. Number one, you must be an analyst. You must be a business analyst, regardless of whatever discipline that you have, regardless of whatever department that you're in, regardless of whatever your desk, your job is tagged or title. You must be a business analyst. You must be an analyst. And number two, you must be a project manager. Project management is hinged on the effective and efficient balance of scope, time, and cost. It means that your eye on scope, time, and cost in the place of wherever it is that you're working will deliver exceptional results. It will guide the decisions that you make, because decisions are hinged on the quantity, one, and two, the quality of information that you have at your disposal. And when you but you see, what you keep your eye on determines what you process. You can't process what you haven't focused on. It was one of my bosses that said to me when I was in the banking industry many years ago that people will do what you inspect and not what you expect. In other words, and I've translated that in many ways over the years, it is what you inspect, what you give attention to, that you'll be able to make plans around, you'll be able to build strategies around, you'll be able to develop key activities to achieve. And the result thereof will be a complete and total reflection of the scope of your focus, the scope of your concentration. And so that's very important. We have to think about that. And to be an analyst, it means that you must be able to understand trends, understand numbers, understand direction, understand projection, and understand patterns and understand projections. Because analyzing now determines that you are now qualifying and making, given the information, the knowledge and information that you have, in a way that serves you best in your sector, space, or industry, that allows you to quickly be able to make implementations that will not only have you being fragile, which is you just being overwhelmed by the things that happen, or have you being robust, meaning that you can only just take things but not necessarily growing, but bring you to what we call the face of anti-fragility. So note this: business analyst, or analyst if you like, and project management. Those two things prepare you for the job of the future. So, how does this tie into what you're doing right now? It doesn't matter. It is a function, it's not of the office. It's not of the office, right? It's not of the office that you're in. It's not about whatever your office is called. It's about the functionality of analyzing, being able to critically analyze, which comes by way of critical reasoning, which comes by the way of understanding information and not just letting information fly, being able to recognize trends, and by those trends, now being able to create projections that help you be rightly positioned for the future. And when you take the entire concept, all right, when you take the entire concept of time, scope, and cost, which is project management, you're going to find out that there's so many things that you can do that taking into consideration time, scope, and cost allows you now to be able to take certain decisions that will eventually give you the kind of outcomes that you find absolutely important. So this is such an important thing for us to consider. The work of the future requires people that think on their feet, requires people that seek to understand the interrelationship between what they do, what others do, and what the outcome is, while achieving stakeholder satisfaction. It's so important. Achieving stakeholder satisfaction. The work of the future requires a forward thinking. Many people today are not equipped for the work of the future. Because strategically, over time, what you've learned to do is to stay in the place of what you were given. I said it before, I will say it again. No one is interested anymore in task completers. If I had to spell everything out for you to do, and then you get it done, then I might as well automate it and will not need you. However, where you stand, regardless of whether there's AI or technology advancement, is your ability to make certain projections that require, look, there is a need, there will always be the place of human intervention. But you, the human, are you conversant with what the human intervention is? Are you conversant with where the gaps are? Have you been able to identify the gaps? It was Vusi Mbakwaye that said that just because there's a gap in the market doesn't mean that there's a market in the gap. Your ability to be able to analyze and to be able to manage what you analyze project wise will deliver to you peak performance. And there's so much around this that I want us to unpack, and we will be doing that possibly in the course of the week to come. Let's scale back a bit. Let's scale back a bit and see how it is that it looks like we're having a bit of connection issues on Instagram. So I hope people are joining in on the other platforms on LinkedIn and of course on YouTube. So let's look at this. Let's look at it critically, right? Let's look at it critically. One of the things that we said earlier is note one thing: the changes that will happen. All right, the changes that will happen have happened because whether you like it or not, with or without your permission, the world as it is today is filled. There are government policies and government decisions that happen. There's a rapid shift in people's disposable incomes and their purchasing power. Beyond their purchasing power, their purchasing styles. There is a need and a focus on things that probably were not considered as being important. People's taste buds have shifted significantly in the last in the last God knows decade, 2 years, 5 years, decades, that are great indicators of what the future needs. The entire concept of what corporate work and work looks like are things that have changed in itself. So, how are you going to be able to fit in if you haven't taken into cognizance these things that I've said? How are you going to now fit in to now apply what you know? Hey, let's talk a bit about what you know. What do you really know about what you do? What do you really know about the sector that you're in? What do you really know about the industry that you're in? What do you really know about the workspace that you're in? What do you really know? Let me tell you something. Let's take it from this perspective. There are about 6 to 7 perspectives that I have on this matter of your knowledge, right? What do you think represents value? What is business about? Business is creating value in the way that that value is now rightly communicated with all the attendant properties of sales and marketing. And then there's value exchange for that value, meaning that people now pay premium for the value. And then you're able to deliver that value over and above what it costs you to do that value sustainably over time, so that people now believe enough in what you're offering to be able to pay you for it. And then you can now find ways, creative and innovative ways to be able to scale what you do. That's what business is. But now think about it. If business is and work, because listen, the work you do is a part of business. You understand that, right? So if that's what work is about and that's what business is about, what's your understanding of value? And your understanding of value cannot be void of what the person to which you are creating value for understands value. So there's always been the age long conversation about uh, do we create something and then get the market to want it, or do we create what the market wants and serve it to the market in the best way that people will? And then when we talk about that value, we'll also understand that what you're in the business of, and I've said this many times, what you're in the business of doing is creating an experience. and you create the experience by way of the products and services that you offer. And you now have a role to play in the creation of that product or that service and the delivery of that service and the communication of the value embedded in that service. All right, stay with me. I'm going somewhere. Now, if you don't understand what value is, because you see, when we talk about the things that need to happen for you to be able to fit into the work of the future, it starts from the understanding of what exactly you're supposed to do. So I could actually make this episode about clarity and unpack it so that you have deep understanding, very deep understanding of it. And then that allows you to be able to run, to build, to find the best ways to align so that it is deployable by you. The work of the future is simply fitting into the work of the future, is simply finding the best way to express the competencies that you have in a way with consideration of everything happening around you in a way that goes over and beyond whatever impediments or whatever changes that may be or whatever misalignments or whatever shifts that may happen or that may be or that may exist in your sector today. So it's really very deep, if you ask me. It's really, that's why I say many people are not prepared or adequately prepared for the work of the future. Little wonder that many people today, which were really employable yesterday, are becoming increasingly unemployable. Increasingly unemployable. Meaning that if they try to get something else somewhere, it will really be difficult because guess what? The culture that they're in right now has not enabled them to even be able to adapt. So there's the place of anchorage and there's the place of adaptability. Adaptability is really what I'm focusing on today. I want to assume that the basic ethics of work, of working in organizations, of understanding your job is there. And at some point again, we'll revisit that because we really shouldn't make assumptions of anything. But hey, how flexible are you? And your flexibility is not just changing at anything. Your flexibility is knowing what to do part time. There was a great man that said to me that you surf in stormy water, but you swim in calm waters. You can't surf in the swimming pool. I hope you're not trying to swim in a storm. You can ride the waves in the stormy water, but you swim in calm waters. That's adaptability, understanding what to do. So think with me for a minute. What changes, significant changes have happened in your industry in the last 5 years? What has changed? And a significant change is not just every change, it's a significant change that has changed the way things are being done now from before the change happened. But can I also announce to you that there are more significant changes happening even right now? But the real question that I have for you is, are you even aware? Do you even know them? Do you recognize them? Breaking news on CNN, and you listen to it. Breaking news on channels, breaking news on Arise, or whatever part of the world that you're in, or whatever news channel that you listen to. Oh, daily headlines of the newspapers, and you read it. Oh, something on your World Wide Web, and you read it. But what does it mean to you? How does it serve you? What analysis do you make of it? What data do you research to get deeper understanding of it? The world's looking for critical thinkers. I've said it that look, Look, the work of the future requires that you must be a maven. A maven is a voracious consumer of knowledge. You must know, you must seek to know as many things as possible. Know what's going on in your desk, know what's going on in the next desk, know what's going on in the office, know what's going on in the industry, know what's going on, know what's going on with the business relationships that you have, with the network that you have, with the athletes that you have. Recognize your stakeholders, and know what it is that your stakeholders want and what kind of influence and impact that you have on your stakeholders as well as they have on you. It's very important. It's very, very important. You simply must know. You must know. You must know this thing. So you need to be a maven. Number two, you need to be a synthesizer. Synthesizer is a master of ideas. You must think through stuff. You must constantly churn out ideas, and churning out ideas is a function of you being able to be a critical analyst. Remember what I said about being an analyst and a project manager? Number three, you must be a communicator. There's no game saying that you must be a communicator. You must be somebody who's able to distill ideas and put them in a way that shows the value, communicates the worth, communicates the benefits of what it is that you're producing in a way that the world cannot resist it. The marketplace cannot resist it because number one, that is how you stay afloat in your red ocean. And most importantly, number two, that's how you create blue oceans and new markets. You must be a salesperson and a master of negotiation. You must be all of that. But ultimately, as I always will say, you must be a system builder. The work of the future and being ready for the work of the future requires you building systems around your competencies. Systems function within other systems. And your ability to build a system around your competency means that you can pivot whichever way is required of you without losing the essence of what it is that you have. It means that you can sustainably deliver the same level of excellence over time because you now have a wider market, a more fluid market, a more informed market, a more accessible market, and your position in that market determines how successful you are. Now, many people will think I'm just speaking to business people, but don't you understand their employee or entrepreneur or work co-creator? Don't you understand how essential your role is in the scheme of things? Your role is so essential. So you must be a system builder. Fitting into the work of the future means that you have a deep understanding of what you need to do to understand how times have changed, the experiences of the past, what needs to be done now, the occurrences of now, and what promises and what the projections of tomorrow is, which determines your promise of the future. So when you look at your experiences of the past, the occurrences of now, and the promise of the future, it means therefore that you are weighing things and considering things all around 360. This is why I say that many people, with all due respect, don't think enough. Don't think enough. Because when we talk about the concept of analyzing, another issue that I think a lot of people have, and I've said this repeatedly over time, is I think we don't do enough tracking, and when we do, we're not tracking the right things, and that stems and ties again back to the beginning point of what I started saying at the top few minutes of my conversation with you, with regards to clarity. With regards to clarity, what are you tracking? Do you know what to track? But you can't know what to track if you have limited understanding of where exactly you're supposed to be going to. You can't know what to track. You can't be tracking rightly if where you're going to isn't clear to you. They say, man that doesn't know where it's going to will go anywhere, right? And guess what? That's the truth. that's absolutely the truth. Absolutely the truth. So it's such a massive thing. It's such a massive thing when we talk about the work of the future and fitting into the work of the future. So I'm going to stop here for today. And next Sunday, we're going to be going further on this topic. We're going to be discussing in detail some great aspects of getting you ready for the work of the future. I hope that the points that I've shared today are things that resonate with you and things that you want to, and I invite you to critically think about them. I invite you to think about the Casper model that I've shared with you and find the best way for you to be able to walk your way through it. Clarity, alignment, strategy, planning, execution, and results. And I'm going to take each one of them in deeper detail, starting from strategy, planning, execution, and results next week. I've done quite a bit with clarity and alignment today. The world needs you to be rightly fitted. Truth of the matter is that if you can't adapt, if you don't have the right anchorage, you're going to have an out of place adaptability. You're going to be so flexible that you will no longer have essence. Anchorage and adaptability will deliver you the right position to be able to fit in and thrive in the work of the future. And this is really what the conversation is about today. It's about 45 minutes or so past the hour of 7. And I just want to thank everybody that has joined us on this live stream, everybody that has joined us on all our platforms. Thank you to those that joined us on Instagram. Thank you to those that were here on LinkedIn and on YouTube. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I look forward to connecting with you next week. And hey, whatever thoughts you have about what we shared today, and of course, please do share this video. Share it too on your platform so that as many people, a lot of people need to hear these things. A lot of people need to have their thoughts catalyzed along these things. A lot of people need to be spurred into action along the lines of the thoughts that I've shared with you today. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to send them, drop them here, and I will be responding to them. The ones that I don't treat, I will definitely be speaking by next same time, 7 p.m. West African time next Sunday. So hey, it's Aniekan AU Uzor, and I'm always delighted to connect with you. See you next Sunday. Have a super great week, a super positive week, and remember to keep walking the pathway of champions. Good night, everyone.